When the world was young, and gods still breathed through reeds and stone, a whisper stirred the Nile. It said there would come a king who carried peace like sunrise, that where his footsteps fell, wheat would rise in golden prayer, and where his tears touched earth, life would bloom again. For gods do not weep lightly. And when they do, worlds change. Listen now, wanderer of time, and remember with us, for memory is the bridge between breath and eternity. And tonight, beneath stars older than sorrow, a story rises again. The story of Osiris, the king who died, yet never left, and of Isis, whose love taught death to fear. Ra crowned him king upon the throne of black basalt. The gods rejoiced, for order had found a keeper. Under his reign, men learned the rhythm of sowing and rest. He taught that harvest is covenant, not conquest. Isis walked beside him, breath of healing and wisdom. Together they wove spells that held chaos at the edge of creation. Temples filled with incense, waters whispered his name, lotuses opened in his honor, and death slept beneath his peace. Then Osiris gave law to the two lands. Justice became not blade, but balance. Blood feud ended, oath replaced vengeance. Kings and beggars stood equal before judgment. The Nile obeyed his voice and swelled in gratitude. Fields bowed golden beneath his blessing. Men learned not to fear the gods, but to mirror them. And for a time, the world forgot sorrow. But where peace builds, jealousy gathers like storm cloud. And in one god's heart, bitterness grew like drought, for Set could not bear a kingdom that needed no fear. And thus the seed of shadow took root. Osiris walked the fields, blessing furrows with touch and voice. He drank with fishermen and broke bread with shepherds. Children ran behind him like sparrows chasing dawn. And Isis watched, keeper of calm, mother of knowing. But Set stood apart, eyes sharp as desert wind. He saw not peace, but power slipping beyond his grasp. He envied not Osiris's throne, but his love. He envied the way mortals smiled without fear. Envy hardened like sunburnt clay. He plotted quietly, venom beneath honey. Osiris trusted, for he believed hearts could choose light. But some hearts hunger for storm, not dawn. The gods sensed fracture, yet spoke nothing. Silence is where betrayal grows, and so heaven held its breath. Set smiled like a knife hidden in silk. The desert leaned toward chaos, and fate, once gentle, sharpened its edge. The storm had chosen its hour. Set crafted a chest of perfect measure, made only for Osiris. He brought it to a feast, gilded with lies. Whoso fits, he declared, shall keep it as his throne. Gods laughed, wine masking dread. Osiris lay within, and the lid fell like night. Set sealed the chest, severing heaven from earth. Binders tightened like thunder. The world shook. Isis cried out, but grief met silence. Set hurled the chest to the Nile's dark current, and the river swallowed a god. The feast dimmed, torches hissed in fear. No god moved, dread held every breath. Even Ra looked away from betrayal. Songs died in musicians' throats. Wine soured, laughter curdled, joy undone. Set whispered, "Let the world learn to fear again." And the wind carried his oath as poison. Thus was paradise wounded, and peace remembered its fragility. The Nile flowed on, heavy with destiny. The chest drifted northward, cradling a fallen god. It lodged in roots of a sacred tree near Byblos. The tree embraced it, as nature guards the innocent. Isis wandered Egypt, veiled in tears. Where she wept, Nile swelled in sorrow. Mortals felt grief without knowing its name. At last she reached Byblos, disguised in mortal cloak. The king, moved by pity he could not explain, gave her the tree. She split the wood, finding Osiris untouched by time. She opened the sacred wood and found the chest unstained by decay. She kissed the lid, whispering life into death. She carried him back to Egypt in silence. She hid the chest among reeds, praying Shadow would not find it. But Set's spies slithered through sand and dark. They found the resting god and called their master. Set tore open the chest with rage, ancient as drought. He rent the body into 14 pieces and scattered them across the two lands. So death thought itself triumphant. But love had not yet spoken its final word. When cruelty broke creation, Isis rose like flame. She vowed death would learn fear. Nephthys walked beside her, loyal shadow of light. They searched river and field, desert and marsh. Each part found became shrine and prayer. Even cobras bowed as sorrow passed. Isis gathered bone and hair, heart and limb. One piece lost to the river's hunger she formed anew by spell. She wrapped him in linen scented with cedar and myrrh. She fanned breath into still flesh with wings of devotion. Anubis learned embalming from her grief. Thoth sealed limbs with sacred words. Osiris stirred, not mortal, not dead, but eternal. The Duat awakened in reverence. Death bowed, conquered for the first time. Isis trembled, seeing eternity born in sorrow. Osiris rose, but destiny was changed, for no one returns from death unchanged, and the world felt the first breath of after. Osiris opened his eyes in twilight between realms. "My path lies west," he said, voice like river stone. "For where souls travel, I must judge." Isis bowed, heart breaking and healing at once. From their union Horus was conceived, falcon of dawn. Then Osiris walked beneath earth, king unseen. Anubis opened the gate. The dead rose to greet him. Isis hid her son in marshes of secrecy. She nursed him on hope and caution. Scorpions guarded them in silent loyalty. Horus grew beneath moon and reed. He learned patience from wind, courage from river. Dreams carried his father's counsel. Isis whispered, "Strength is restraint." Set hunted rumor and shadow, restless, but gods hid breath for the sake of balance. The world waited, poised between fear and hope. Horus sharpened will like talon on stone. He knew day of reckoning would come, and justice readied its wings. Horus grew in solitude, tempered by silence. He asked why justice bleeds to be born. Isis answered with quiet, "Truth ripens in silence." He looked in still water and saw tomorrow's king. He saw fear, fear of becoming what he must destroy. "Strength is restraint," Isis whispered again. He touched feather of Maat, unbearable lightness. Truth is fragile, yet outlives stone. Dreams warned, do not become storm. Horus trained heart and body alike, for rage is easy. Justice wounds its bearer first. He saw reflection again, unshaken. Duty outweighed fear. He prayed not for victory, but for clarity. He sharpened resolve as falcon sharpens sight. Isis laid her hand on him, blessing and burden. Past echoed with Osiris. Future breathed with Horus. The world trembled with approaching reckoning. And silence prepared to break. Set marched in thunder. Dunes trembled. Horus rose in dawnlight. Wings cut sky. Two lands divided. Desert against river. Heaven cracked like linen in storm. "Strength rules heaven," Set roared. "Balance rules eternity," Horus answered. They clashed, stars shook in their sockets. Set became storm, Horus became horizon. Blood fell, lotus bloomed red. Fate watched, unblinking. Set tore out Horus's eye. Triumph wild, Isis caught it, cradled dawn in hands. Her tears healed it, moon-mending sun. Horus returned with sight of truth, not rage. He bound Set in sky iron forged of will. Gods descended, judgment stood. Mahat weighed Set's heart, heavy as barren sand. Set cast beyond horizon, storm without throne. Heaven broke, not to fall, but renew. And Horus rose rightful, not triumphant. When storm ended, world exhaled. Victory felt like morning. Horus stood crowned in solemnity. Gods named him king. His first act, prayer to Duat. Osiris answered in stillness, blessing unseen. Nile rose, greening sorrow. People felt continuity, not conquest. Temples opened, drums beat heartbeats slow. Grief turned ritual, loss turned stone memory. Horus offered father's name to wind. Wind carried it across tombs and river. Osiris ruled the west as just king. Horus ruled the living, sky-born and steady. Balance breathed again. Justice walked in linen and quiet. Truth featherlight on every heart. The world did not celebrate. It healed. And peace became sacred. Silence learned to speak again. Time flowed like Nile, remembering gods. Children spoke Osiris at dawn. Priests recited tears of Isis. Widows prayed to her in night hunger. Death became doorway, not abyss. Souls met Osiris, judge fair as river flow. Wicked trembled at truth, not torment. Loving walked into eternity like fields of gold. Horus guarded sky. Balance stayed vigil. Maat breathed in every law. Egypt prospered, for memory fed its roots. Priests traced hymns with reed and ink. Sarcophagi bore Osiris's crown. Hearts weighed by feather. Truth unblinking. None escape judgment, but mercy walks beside. So long as Osiris is remembered, death cannot reign. So long as Isis is loved, hope never dies. Time bowed to their love, and memory became eternal flame. When night leans over the Nile, it speaks his name. Stars drift like offerings in silent hymns. Isis no longer weeps, her tears became tides. Osiris rules beneath, Horus above, balance between. Mortals remember, and thus gods endure. Every tomb is a promise, every dawn a vow. For love once lost remade the world, and tears of gods became life for men. Listen, and carry this fire onward, for memory is immortality spoken aloud.